Did you know that cereal has been a staple food in American households for a century now? We have all had a bowl of crispy sweetness to kick off our day, but have you ever stopped to think about how these crunchy little pieces are made? There is a story behind each box of cereal sitting in your pantry. Today we will dive into the fascinating history of cereals. Uncovering top favorites and learning how they are made. Breakfast cereals are as American as apple pie, but what are their actual origins? How did they manage to become a staple in every kitchen? Well, the story of the cereals is as rich as the flavors in your bowl. So, stick with us till the end as we explore the evolution of cereals, top popular brands, and the manufacturing process that makes the magic happen. Trust me when I say it's more than just a bowl of flakes. Let's dive into the magical world of cereals and learn a few new facts about our favorite cereals. The world of cereal, as we know it today, started as a health craze. It has its origins in a rather unexpected place. It was basically a health food experiment conducted by James Caleb Jackson. He created a breakfast cereal from graham flour and named it Granula. Later, John Harvey Kellogg, a surgeon who owned a health spa, created his own version of Granula and called it granola. A few years later, Kellogg and his younger brother learned a way to create flaked cereals, which they called cornflakes. John's brother, Will Kellogg, added the sugar to the recipe and started to commercialize it. Kellogg Brothers' success encouraged other entrepreneurs to get into the cereal production business, and that's how a new and delicious breakfast was introduced to the world. Enough about the history. Now let's talk about the current favorite cereals of Americans. First on the list, we have Rice Krispies. They snap, crackle, and pop, and they definitely deserve to be on top of our list. Next, we have Cheerios and Chex, a perfect heart-healthy option for adults and kids. Special K is our next favorite as a perfect healthy breakfast option. Next on the list are Lucky Charms, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Kellogg Fruit Loops, Cap'n Crunch, Frosted Flakes, and Honey Nut Cheerios. People who love sugary treats will definitely love these delicious crunchy cereals. This was the list of top 10 cereals that have earned their place in American cereal bowls. But what if I tell you that the base ingredient for all of these cereals is the same? So, how do they all taste different? To find out about this, let's take a deep dive into the production process and see how they are all made. The general manufacturing process is quite similar for all cereals, and the main ingredient that's used in all of them is raw grain. The type of grain used determines the flavor and adds texture to the cereal. Most cereals, like oatmeal and plain shredded wheat, depend solely on grain as their single ingredient. However, other cereals, such as Lucky Charms and Cap'n Crunch, may contain additional ingredients such as coloring agents and sweeteners. Except for a few ingredients and methods, the production process of different kinds of cereals is broadly similar to one another. Let's learn how our favorite bowl of deliciousness is made. The first step to any food preparation is choosing the ingredients. Most of the cereals are made on a base grain: corn, wheat, rice, or oats. The choice of these grains is made with respect to their nutritional value, texture, and flavor, because every grain brings out a totally different taste and texture in cereal. Once selected, the grains are sorted according to the side and quality to ensure the uniformity in the final product. Other ingredients such as sugar, salt, flavorings, vitamins, and minerals are added to the mix to increase the flavor and nutritional value of the cereal. Once the selection process is completed, we move on to our next step, which is milling. Milling is the next crucial step in the cereal manufacturing process that involves grinding or breaking of grains into more uniform and smaller pieces. However, before milling, grains should be thoroughly cleaned to remove all sorts of impurities. Once cleaned, the grains are softened by adding moisture. This process is called tempering, and it makes the cereals easy to break. Next, we grind or crush them to form finer particles. While grinding the grains, the endosperm, bran, and germ are separated from each other. These different parts of grains are used in a variety of cereals. Depending on the type of cereal, milled products can be blended with other ingredients to create a desired texture or flavor. Milling looks very different for each different type of grain. Corn is milled into cornmeal or grits, rice is cleaned and polished, and in some cases ground. Oats are hulled or rolled, and white is milled into fine flour. Once the grains are crushed into smaller pieces, it's time to cook them with other ingredients so they can soften and absorb the flavor while the starch gelatinizes. This process differs according to the type of cereals. If one is making Cheerios or Fruit Loops, then at this stage the dough is made for them. Or if one is making Rice Krispies, the grains are cooked under high-pressure steam to prepare them for puffing. Basically, depending upon the type of grain, the cooking process differs. As for the mixing, flavoring agents or additives are added. If one is making a few batches, grains are cooked or boiled in large kettles. But for mass production, the equipment used are totally different. A large steam chamber and conveyor belt are needed to cook the cereals in large quantities. Once the cooking process ends, the grains are cooled down to prepare them for our next step, which is shaping cereal. Once the flavors are added, our next key step is shaping the cereals. Different methods are used during this step, according to the type of cereal you are creating. Extrusion is the first method, which is used to create loop and ring shaped cereals. Cheerios, Cap'n Crunch, and Fruit Loops are created through this process. During extrusion, the cooked dough is pushed through an extruder to give it a specific shape. Flaking is another type of method that is used to create cereals, like Corn Flakes or Frosted Flakes. During this process, cooked grains are rolled out into thin flakes. However, if you want to create light and airy cereals like Rice Krispies or Honey Smacks, then puffing is the right method. During this process, rice or wheat is puffed using high-pressure steam or heat. Lastly, we have layering, during which wheat dough is formed into thin sheets, layered and cut into small square shapes. This method is used to create frosted mini wheats. Next step in this manufacturing process is drying and toasting the cereal. If you were wondering what gives that crunch to your cereal, then this is your answer. After shaping the cereals, they are heated in a large oven or kiln to remove moisture and make them crispier and crunchier. During this step, cereals are toasted to enhance their texture and give them a beautiful golden glow. Few cereals like Cinnamon Toast, Crunch, or Frosted Flakes are glazed before the drying process to add a sweetened flavor to them. If the cereal still retains any moisture after the toasting, they are air-dried or dehydrated, so they don't go bad due to the remaining moisture. If one is making granola cereal, then instead of drying or toasting, baking would be a better option. Our next step is where all the magic happens. This stage is highly crucial to the cereal manufacturing process, as it is the step when different flavors are added to cereals, and this is what sets apart each of them. Adding the flavoring also varies according to the type of cereal. For example, for some cereals like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, the powder coating method is the best. Some cereals are sprayed with sweet syrups to make them more delicious. For cereals like Lucky Charms, colorful marshmallows are added after the cereal has been dried to maintain their texture. Since cereals are loved by kids, it's important to increase its nutritional value so kids get a happy and healthy breakfast. Therefore, at this stage, various minerals and vitamins are sprayed upon the cereals. Once the manufacturing process is completed, the cereals are cooled to room temperature and then packaged into airtight bags to preserve freshness and protect the cereal from moisture. Then they are put into colorful boxes labeled with all the nutritional information and sent to markets. Next time you go grocery shopping, grab your favorite box of cereals because they have been through so much to reach you. Although we have provided you with information about the cereals, it wouldn't be enough if we forgot to talk about the first type of cereal, called granula or granola. Originally created in the 19th century, granola is considered the first ever cereal. However, it took a while for it to become popular. When trying to look for healthier alternatives for sugary cereals, that's when Leighton Gentry came up with the recipe that was the healthiest breakfast option. Soon it became a staple among health enthusiasts. Later, granola bars hit the market and became popular as an on-the-go breakfast option. With the exception of a few steps, the manufacturing process of the granola is similar to the cereal making process. However, the ingredients used in granola are healthier and contain more nutrients than processed cereals. One key step in making granola is baking, where it is baked at slow heat, giving granola its golden color and crunch. Granola's manufacturing process balances simplicity with precision, ensuring a consistent, high-quality product that remains a favorite for breakfast bowls, snacks, and granola bars worldwide. And that wraps up our journey through the world of cereals. But your journey through these wholesome flavors can start anytime you visit your local grocery store. From sweet treats to wholesome bites, there's cereal out there for every kind of morning. These small treats can bring a new joy to your day. Thank you for exploring this story with us. If you found it interesting, give us a like, share it with your breakfast buddies, and subscribe for more inspiring food stories. What's your perfect breakfast cereal moment? Let us know in the comments.